because I've got a whole friend group chat. They're not allowing their wives to watch it. So they won't. They're like, nah, we're not letting you. We're not letting our wives see you as that.
Very excited to be chatting about Welcome to Chippendales. Man, what a wild show. I've watched a lot of it so far, and I watched with my wife, so like I have to watch on her time, and so the funny thing is like I know a lot about the story already, and she doesn't. So the whole time I'm sitting there like, wait for her to wait.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, something's coming. But man, what a great show. Quentin, I want to ask you, Otis is Otis based on a real person in the story of Chippendales, or is he like a collection of people kind of like?
Well, first I have to say you are better than my friend group, because I've got a whole friend group chat. They're not allowing their wives to watch it. So they won't. They're like, nah, we're not letting you. We're not letting our wives see you as that. But Otis is based. He's based off a collection. It's fictionalized, his story. And so, he comes in. I think it's really telling, his story, because I think it also mirrors. It mirrors in a way Steve's story. Both being others in this other culture. They both come into this thing that becomes a very a predominantly white event, and they're both others outside of that. So I think how they experience these things that happen, being on the outside in different ways, it's just really, it's kind of a way to see through a looking glass how, other cultures kind of exist alongside these things for so long that are just, primarily Caucasian white-based events.
Yeah, it is really interesting to see all of that play out and how big Chippendales grew along with all of that happening at the same time. Robin, your character is very crucial to the story. We'll just say that. When I was telling my wife, I was like, this is who I'm going to interview, and I was showing her. I was like, here's Robin. And she was like, oh yeah, who's he? And I was like, well, he's the handyman. And let's just stop there.
Yeah.
What kind of research did you do for your character beforehand?
Yeah, well, I also just want to say, it didn't even occur to me to what you said, this show is actually really great for married folks, because I think everyone's going to come in thinking this is geared towards women, but in actuality, I think it's equal opportunity for everybody. Yeah.
Totally agree.
But with Ray, there wasn't have been fictionalized, really. And so there is some stuff about my character out there, but I really just listened to Spirit, to be honest. I knew general stuff about him, but a few months ago, before I even booked the show, I had been taping myself for an audition, and I did something, and my posture changed, and I was like, yo, who's that? Who's that character? And I just started riffing off of that for months and months. And everything that I began to define when I got the audition for Ray was Ray. So it was like I was downloading something for the future. And I was like, oh, Ray's the one that's gonna help me execute this, And I was really interested in finding something tonally darker for me personally as an actor. But what really attracted me to Ray was his humanity. I felt like it was an opportunity to show two brown men who do terrible things actually be soft with one another and present in a way that men don't usually get to present around other folks. But that is, in fact, how men are with one another. Yeah. And the other thing for me was this sort of idea of how do you say I'm sorry and how do you make things right? And I think that's something that I get to explore later on in the series.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very intriguing, and obviously we want to avoid any spoilers. But it's not a. I think you're right. You hear the term Chippendales, and you just kind of automatically. I think people automatically assume, this salacious sort of. Yeah. But this is very much more of a biography. I don't want to say true crime, but that's that feels accurate,
That's a
right?
feel, yeah.
True crime feels right. Biography, not so much.
Not so much. Maybe not that. Maybe not biographical. Quentin, did you have to do much sort of Chippendales practice beforehand?
Absolutely. I like that you called it that, Chippendales practice. No, I had.
I mean, that's right.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of practice. Like, I don't have a dancing background. You know, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not a dancer. I'm definitely not a stripper. Have not done that before. Will not continue to do that. You
Well,
know?
you're missing out. Let me tell you.
It was empowering. It honestly was, but I left it on the screen. But yeah, no, I had about 2 months where I was, Monday through Friday for hours and hours just in dancing boot camp, like learning a lot of different dance, whether it was jazz, tango, all this kind of stuff. And then the choreography came into part of it, a lot of stretching and stuff like that. But I went through that whole thing and then, learning the choreography and then, doing it on the actual stages for rehearsal and then doing the live thing with people watching and screaming, So
I offered to be his body double, but
it was close.
You could that would have been a great way to a little extra, right?
Yeah. Ray makes it however he can, you know what I mean?
Ray make it rain.
Well, listen, you guys are awesome. I really, really appreciate you taking time to chat today.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome Chippendales is on Hulu November 22nd. It kicks off November 22nd.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.